This is
the thing.
ecosystem of the internet. Yeah. This is, Nick would be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If any one of us were caught up in a similar situation.
Yeah. Howdy, Flash. How are you doing, man? It's been a little while.
Just blown.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the one thing. I need to play Helldivers with you soon. It's been a little while, but yeah. So if you guys haven't seen this, this is the actual probable cause. This is not the probable cause for the warrant. This is just the probable cause to establish they can charge him. So
I only caught that. What was the document where you were going through the stuff they found on the site?
Oh, right here. Right here.
Okay. Does that change things, you think? Like, it seemed like you had some distribution stuff going on.
I mean, you could infer some of this is distribution, but I think a lot of this is just this is higher end personal use. Like, they're buying tons of it. Yeah. That's the bigger thing there. But yeah, basically they got a warrant.
Overall dirty home.
Well, they wouldn't comment on. I guarantee you, when we see it, it's gonna look like a bomb went off in there.
Yeah, cracked.
Yeah, the body cam footage is for sure gonna come out because, I mean, he's got a large group of people that follow him around, and
if they have it.
Oh no, there's gonna be body cam footage. There will be.
Yeah.
Well, where I live, the cops don't have body cams, and I live in a pretty big city. Yeah.
Well,
that's weird.
Here's the thing: if there aren't body cams, there are going to be a million pictures of this. So
that will be true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I'd like to think they have. I mean, this seems like they're somewhat technical out there. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, when I got swatted, I was like, "Can I get the body cam footage? Like, at least let me grift off of this."
Mm-hmm.
And like, we don't have body cams. I was like, "Oh, how convenient for you."
Could have been like Fat Trick and never get released.
Yeah.
William Barnes is saying, I think they got him for a DUI. They wouldn't have enough to go after your home for a DUI at that point.
Well, they did have the
reporter.
Yeah.
Well, somebody reported, and from there, I'm sure the police did an investigation, because from that report to the raid, when they hit the house, that's a week. That's enough time to develop an investigation. Popping him for a DUI and then saying, "Oh, we had drugs, we want to raid the house." Even when I was a prosecutor, I'd be like, "That's not enough to get a search warrant." You can search the car, but you're not going to be able to go toss the guy's house.
Is that where I was unaware of the DUI. Is that how this all?
No. Somebody's saying,
okay.
There's suspicions they got him for a DUI. There's nothing.
They went to his house. He didn't get pulled over.
Oh no,
he ended up coming back home, didn't he?
Well, no,
he did get pulled over.
If you read the complaint, yeah. So he was
this is the first time seeing this. I read the Fox News article a little bit before I came on here and was kind of like, wow.
Yeah. So the police showed up at the house ready to execute. They caught Nick driving down the road. They stopped him. And then as you read on, upon knocking the door, one of the kids opened the door but wouldn't let him in. Which, good job,
Smart kid.
Don't let the cops in.
Yeah.
Likely what happened is they brought Nick in the back of a car. They detained him, brought him back to the house, and said, "Let us in the home. Use the door code." And Nick told them no, which, once again, smart move. And then the cops knocked down the door.
They knocked it down anyway.
Well, if you don't want
to knock
it down. If you give them the door code, they would have minimized damage and harm.
That's what they always try to tell people about their fancy gun safes. When everyone was having a breakdown about Liberty Safe.
How hard is it to get a search warrant for someone's house? How did they get it just on a complaint from one person? They had to have been investigating him.
Well, that's what I mean. They would have done it. They would have done a lot more investigation. And what they probably did is watch some of these fucking streams.
Yeah.
This probably wouldn't have been the only thing. It also depends on. One person could be enough for a warrant if there's enough particularity. Like, here's where the drugs are. Here's how many they got. I know the layout of the house. Boom, 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 boom. Here are all your drugs. If it's one thing if you're a CI and you give some vague idea of like there's a drug deal about to happen, but if you say it's going to happen at this time, a guy in a red hat's going to talk to a guy in a blue hat. They're both going to be driving the same type of car. They're going to meet at this particular bench at the park. the more
What
and more
about-
information you could submit gives you more and more probable cause.
I had a question I
And
want to ask
reliability.
you during just from the Fox article, but I saw the stuff on this too.
Yeah,
Could he be looking at like a distribution charge or something? Because
possibly.
where I'm at, separate baggies, a scale, and an assortment of stuff, like they would nail you, at least try, they could charge you with it. I don't know if it would pass through, but that's like a distribution charge, intent to distribute.
It very well could be, but that's where their investigation may reveal, like, no, these are just big time drug users.
Do you think he is?
I don't think Nick is.
I'm like blown, I'm blown away by all
Nick,
this. I haven't been paying attention to him.
So
Nick's
here's
not
the
selling
deal,
drugs.
Flash.
He just
Let me say it
uses
like this. If Nick was a drug dealer, I could fucking roll him if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fat guy who can't do shit. Like Nick selling drugs, like if you come to Nick's house and here you go, I need $50. Like, do you think you're gonna give him money? No, I take my drugs and walk away. What's he gonna do?
He's definitely not. I mean, I've definitely known plenty of people that even just with weed,
who's
they
his
had
muscle?
scales
April?
and
Like
heavy weed users have scales and
if I lived in the area as Nick and I knew he was selling drugs, I would go pull an Omar and stick him up and take his fucking money.
Yeah, I haven't
like he could stop me.
I haven't been watching him much in a while because all of his streams have been about sex and relationships, and I'm just that's just not content that I want to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, have all of his streams been like this? Like that one yesterday?
A lot of them have been this way lately. A lot of them.
Lately.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily with the, the nose issue, but there have been multiple where he's just, and then just lashing out and being completely off the rails. Yeah. Not good. Yes, he has been acting like Hillary, reenacting Hillary's election night loss multiple times from what we can see.
It's just so sad, man, and
it
kids
is.
And everything. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah,
I hope this is a wake up call for him. Then, like,
I hope so.
People have said things here and there over the past time, like because he did, he used to come on a lot of the time for my show, but I figured, well, he just doesn't, he doesn't want to talk about this kind of shit anymore. And I understood that, but I had no idea, like, it had gone down this kind of road, dude. This is awful.
Addicts don't quit because they got caught.
No.
This is going to be extremely, this is going to be an extremely low percentage of success. He's going to probably violate his bail by the end of the month. Like, he's going to get caught.
Yeah.
Using, or you don't quit because you get a ticket.
Yeah.
And I don't think people think jail's a big deal. It really isn't. Like, it's not going to make
if you're detoxing.
To be fair, I'll say it like this, Jeremy. I mean, jail's not a big deal. I mean, but to people like me and you, it is a big deal. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. And to somebody like Nick, that's a big deal. Yeah, I have clients. I got to go to jail. Oh, well. Like, I'm in jail. How long? Week? I mean, for me, like, week, could I do it? Yeah, but I'd be like, fuck. Like, I hate going to jail to meet with clients.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes going to jail.
I guess you're right. I guess I just meant it from, like, him spending 12 hours in jail is not going to make him quit.
No, that's not
drugs.
That's probably not in his situation.
No, he's too deep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. So it is interesting, though. They talk about he demanded a copy of the search warrant, which you're allowed to do. And when they gave it to him, he looked at it and threw it on the ground, which, fair enough. I'm cool with that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy about it either.
Yeah. So then the following items were found in the master bedroom near the nightstand. A snort tube, testing positive for cocaine. A black vial with a white substance inside that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed about 2.2 grams.
It's like that's the Traveler.
Yeah. Two credit cards listed to April Imholt, which I'm sure those were using to chop with. 2 spent shell casings on the floor of the nightstand in the master
bedroom.
That's weird. Well, maybe Nick was shooting ceiling cats. I don't know.
Yeah,
like somebody's saying, like, oh, he could have been outside shooting. I'm like, I have a feeling there's holes in the wall.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah.
A AR-15 with magazines under the bed, which that's okay.
Good for kids. It's not really great when you have
Well,
5
I mean,
kids in the
but
house.
overall, though, I mean, like that's
not
not an
illegal.
illegal thing in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like it was sitting in the kid's like bedroom.
Yeah.
A glass container and metal filter and grinder and glass container that tested positive for cocaine. So it looks like they had their own little grinder. They wanted to liven up and spruce up their own drugs.
Well, they were probably putting the ketamine in there.
Yeah, and they just mix it up.
Mm.
The following items were located in a safe in the bathroom, a bag with cards and a dollar bill that tested positive for cocaine, a large corner cut baggie with white powder. And I was mentioning this, the corner cut of a baggie is a traditional way to dole out drugs because you can seal it up the ends, and it's drug dealers are good at that.
Well, that had 20 grams. I mean, that's not a small amount.
It was an 8-ball, like 3.5.
3, yeah, or 3.5, yeah. Just an eighth, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they will keep ripping off the baggie and they will, like I said, I don't know if you guys know, but I spent time as a prosecutor. Like one of the places I was at, one of the guys who was all about the drug stuff, kind of like he's like, yeah, here's how you do it, and he showed me with the baggies how they actually do all that stuff that I knew people did. And I'm like, wow. So they found a bag of 18.96 grams. So right now they're at about 20 something.
So they're combining all that, right?
Yeah.
So when say he had 26 or whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they found 3 small baggies that weighed about 5.49 grams with packing. They found a couple of tablets of ketamine, which
had a lot of drugs laying around that house.
Yeah.
In a lot of different places.
I mean,
where were the kids?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You have to be careful. The cops are like strewn about the house. Like, was it really strewn about the house? That's where it's,
Yeah.
That's
Could
where
be some editorialization in their report to make them seem worse.
It's very much like the Chappelle show where Bill Burr's the detective, and he's like, I came into the house and she was naked and she threw herself at me.
Yeah.
That happens. That happens. We're not going to lie about it. Joe, if you're here, I sent you a link. A scale that tested positive for cocaine. Remember, it's all field testing because it's not lab tested yet. It's not lab weighed. So
it's all stuff that anybody with a significant amount of money and a habit would have.
Yes.
Like you have scale, you weigh, or you. A lot of people look at, they're like, oh, there's scales. Yeah, when you buy Coke, you have your own scale because you don't want to get ripped off.
Or you're gonna measure it out so you're not doing too much. Like there's that's why I don't think they're dealing. Like Nick would be the shittiest drug dealer in the world.
Well, he gets completely blacked out. That's not a great position to be when you're.
Well, there's that, but also part of being a drug dealer is like you want to present a show of force that other drug dealers will leave you alone, and that people wouldn't try to rob you. And
you're right. Yeah, he'd get rolled right away.
That's what I mean. Like I could roll him.
I mean, maybe that, like, sometimes people do, like, oh, they'll deal to their friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he was doing that. I just think he was using that much of it.
I just, looking at it, I'm not sure what to think when I first saw this. But yeah, I was more so thinking, like, because when it comes to stuff like this, I'm used to normally seeing police, like, just tack on every fucking charge they can.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking with that distribution thing. Like, because you could say that. Doesn't mean they would be convicted of it.
No.
And you're the expert. I was going to ask you, by the way, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
In your opinion, I was reading some stuff, and everything on Twitter is true. But like about
Twitter is true.
There's still like some potential landmines with CPS that are not.
Definitely.
Right?
There's very likely a CPS case right now.
Yeah, they're going to take his kids. I think, or they're going to try.
Kids are with family. The kids went.
Leave them with the grandparents.
CPS doesn't care.
Well, Kayla's family lives in the area. The number one thing they always try to do is a kinship placement right away.
Okay.
Families in the area, no muss, no fuss. They don't have to worry about it. Now, is there a children's services case where they went to juvenile court and they got an ex parte order for temporary custody or whatever they call it in Minnesota, where the agency has custody of the children, but right now they're staying with family? Or did the kids get shoved off to grandparents and there's actually nothing in the way now? I doubt that. I bet there is a children's services dependency action. The children are dependent and they need services from the state because of parents' actions, or they're neglected because they're in a drug den and an orgy house. Something's gone up with that. They're not going to get they're going home to an empty house. And even if grandma and grandpa brought the kids back over, immediately the county would come by and take them back, and then nobody's getting the kids. So, yeah, they're going home to that. And that cases like that, the trajectory on those is like 12 months minimum. So
that's gonna be behind, like, because he's due back in August or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, this is not. They will not have that resolved by August because they're gonna say like the Children's Services is gonna have these videos of Nick just being blasted.
Yeah.
And they're gonna say like these are unfit parents. Nick needs to stay clean. We want drug tests. We want proof the home is safe. All kinds of because this is an unsafe home if this is all going on.
How bad do you think he hurt himself with his other case now too? Where he's blacked out, calling the other judge an idiot.
I mean,
you don't think
it's the same judge, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Can he get that changed? Because he's
my god!
You think they'll make that stick? Because he's shit. Did he shit on that judge a bunch of times?
Yeah. And real quick, Flash and Jeremy, I was gonna say hi. Hey Joe.
Hey Joe.
Hey.
I don't know if you guys know Joe, but Flash.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've had Jeremy on before you were anything. Before you were the great potentially criminal, I had TheQuartering on my show.
I knew you long, but I knew Good Logic way before.
I knew Joe long before the darkness.
YellowFlash. I don't know as nearly as well. I've seen him and heard him around, but nice to meet you, YellowFlash.
Hey, good to see you.
I mean, it's not good to ever shit talk the judges you're in front of. That's why I don't shit talk judges where I work, but I'll shit talk judges in every other state because I'm not there.
Well, there's no fraternity of judges, though. I don't know. I feel like
but they don't. Nobody there's one judge I know of that knows I do this, and he's like, "I heard you do this," and he's like, "It's interesting." And I'm like, I about shit my pants when he told me. He's like, he found my channel.
That's interesting. That's actually a heavily weighted comment from
It was
an interesting thing to do.
Oh, I shit a brick. Well, he had heard from someone else, another attorney, or I think somebody was just talking and he found it. It wasn't like he's like, oh, I'm just, traipsing on the, YouTube, abscess videos. All of a sudden, just like, bam, there's Sean's face.
Where do you think all of this started? And what was the turning point on here with him? Like, when do you think all of this crazy, because he wasn't like this when I met him. When I first met him, like this, he seems like he's a totally different person now.
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint that stuff because, at least in my experience with talking to people, like I had a client one time, the guy had a master's in electrical engineering from the University of Michigan, had his undergrad in electrical engineering from the University of Michigan. Guy was making like 200 G's a year, got in a car accident, hurt his back, and within 6 months was shooting fentanyl. So
people can also hide it really, really good until they
can hide it.
They hide it great until
it's the the issue I think ultimately is this was personality wise he's probably predisposed to this kind of trajectory, but I don't know, maybe around the Johnny Depp trial is what I could think of. I mean, but I don't know, maybe it was underlying and it was just at a low level, and then you sometimes just from there.
Well, you get a big cash injection, and suddenly, you have. I mean, addiction is wild. Like I suspect he was always a casual user, and then he just went down the, he just got a little too lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, and Nick may know, he might not remember, he might not know himself. I mean, if he knows, that would be certainly a help to him, because then he could, if you can go back, you can retrace your steps, but we'll see.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a lot of friggin' speculation. I mean, look, I understand the charges are the charges. Yeah. We all know he's innocent until proven guilty.
And these aren't
speculating as to when he started, how much he used, what's going to happen to him going forward. You guys are his friends. I'm
more concerned with him getting healthy.
Amen. We all want Nick back. We all friggin' want Nick back. The Nick who we fell in love with. That's the one we want back. You know, I'm his friend, and I was his friend when he was growing. I'm his friend at his what hopefully today is his nadir, and I'm going to be his friend when I anticipate that he's going to have a redemption arc. Okay, but I'm simply saying
I hope he does.
And you know, I heard you saying.
I hope he comes out of this, and
I know you do.
This is a wake up call for him. I really do.
Yes, and that's what's so important. I mean, for the love of God, he's our friggin' friend. There are kids involved here. I understand that people are going to cast judgment on him. People are going to act however they're going to act, and no one's going to control how third parties are going to react to this. I'm simply saying, at the end of the day, we all know the strength of character that we've seen displayed from him for over and over and over and over again. We all know that he loves his children. Was this a major F up? Yeah, it was. Assuming that these charges are correct, which you know everyone starts with that assumption, even though we all say innocent until proven guilty. In the court of public opinion, he's already considered guilty, and that you can judge your own morality about that. But putting that aside for a second, the reason he became so popular is because of his strength of his mind, his creativity, and he was so freaking based that he could basically blaze a trail of brilliance and insight as to what is a healthy way to live. And I think a major reason that he's been hated on as much as he has is because people felt that he did not live up to the ideals that he espoused, perhaps better than anyone you've ever heard. So that's why people, I think, come down on him. That's why they rain down on him. And you can sit there philosophically as to whether or not a person should espouse ideals if they themselves cannot live up to those ideals all the time. That's you can have that conversation. That's fine. What I'm simply saying is this, you know, is this normally a wake-up call for people? They go to jail and they still continue being an addict? Yeah, that could be his story. We all pray it's not. But I do think that I think we should bet on Nick as far as believing in this man who has conviction, this man who has strength, this man who has brilliance, and he has the sufficient understanding as to the ramifications that this road has brought him to and where it will lead him to, for he, and most specifically, more than him or even his wife, for his children, who he very clearly loves dearly. So we know he loves his children dearly. We know that he can actually see 10 minutes down the road as the ramifications this has. And even though he hasn't displayed that, perhaps in the way he's conducting himself of late, that doesn't mean that this is not an opportunity for him to have a wake-up call. And I have the utmost belief that we will see this serve as a wake-up call for him, that he will have that redemption arc, and we will see him become the great Nick that we all fell in love with.
Sound like a pretty damn good friend, man.
Joe, I agree. And I think us talking about, though, like where this all came from, that's probably, you know, for Nick, that, you know, part of trying to figure out how did I get here is figuring out where did this start. So hopefully he can figure that out. I'm hoping he can trace it all back. I'm hoping he can say, oh, here's what happened. Here's what I did. Here's what I didn't do. And then go from there. And you guys are yelling at me to ban Vito. We run Somalia rules, guys. He's
a lot of you think that I'm being stupid or I'm being an idiot or that I'm short-sighted or whatever. I'm going to tell you this. This is something I explained to Megan Fox yesterday when I was talking to her. Okay, when we meet people in general, a healthy person, and not everyone is, but to my mind, a healthy person is someone who gives the person the benefit of the doubt without assuming and banking that that's definitely going to happen. And similarly over here, when I'm predicting the future, I think that a healthy perspective for anyone who doesn't have a heart that's become jaded or twisted is to basically say, you know what? I've seen enough in this guy to believe in him. Am I telling you 100% this is definitely what's going to happen? No, I'm not freaking God or Nostradamus or anyone who's a prophet who can tell you that. What I'm saying is that as a friend and someone who's seen reasons to believe that this is going to happen, that I think that's the healthiest attitude. And sure, may I be disappointed? I pray to God I'm not. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be embarrassed if, in fact, that does happen, because I'm happier to be standing in a position where I'm judging a friend from a position of I believe in you and I think that you're going to be redeemed, rather than saying that I'm banking on it, that I'm going to invest my entire life that is what's going to happen. I do believe in him. Do I know that's going to happen? No, but I think that's what a real friend is.
Well, I saw in January. Like he was talking about doing a dry January, and I thought maybe I haven't seen much in between here and then. And I asked him how it was going, and he never responded. Like, how's your dry January going? And he never responded back. And And
To be
then
fair,
I
it's like
see
when
all
I
this.
say I'm going to lose weight, and then people are like, "How's your weight loss going?" I'm like, I don't want to like, yeah.
But I hit him up.
Even
then.
if it's going okay, you know, I'm like, I don't want to answer that. question
that
yet.
was the last time I had because I had saw some clips then. You know, people were throwing some clips on Twitter. And I hit him up and I asked him like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And he said like, yeah, he'd been using alcohol as a crutch and he was gonna give up drinking for January. And I thought until I saw this that he was doing better, but I guess not. It's also heartbreaking, man. I hate seeing people that I like and know, and I've hung out with Nick like a couple of times, and it's just so sad, man.
He's
So
not
sad.
dead.
His
He
kids,
can come
I know.
back from this.
Yep.
It's
He's
just
not like he's got a 10-year addiction. He just, you know, he he got a little. The best thing is that seems to be short term, even if it's been it's been intense. But he lived most of his life not doing this, so hopefully he gets. You know, I know it's highly likely he'll get out of this. He's not like a 20-year addict. You know?
Well, I caution you with that because it's whether you're a 20-year addict or you're just starting to be an addict.
I'm just being optimistic.
Yeah.
You're
No.
right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You're right.
Addiction is and there's people in my chat, and addiction is it is a long road. It's a hard road. Is it a road people can do? Oh yeah, they can. And is Nick a person who could do it? Yes. But I guess it's just the idea that this is not going to be. We're not going to see him like by Halloween, and it's going to be like, "Hey guys," and it's all good. This is going to be a very long process for Nick, even in the best case scenario.
That's true.
So
That's true. I got to bust out of here. Thank you for sending me the link. But yeah, just wanted to wish you all well. It's great seeing you all. And,
yeah, I got a dip too. Joe yelled at me, so I know I got to go. No, thanks for having me on. Best of luck. Keep the stream going. Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
See ya. I'll see you
later,
around.
guys.
Joe, take care. Have a nice Shabbos. Yeah.
I don't have much longer either because
I understand, Flash. I get it. Everybody's bailing. It's okay.
Well, no, my little one's down for a nap and she's going to be up soon.
I got you.
I just have been blown away by this. It's been a wild 24 hours, man. And I hope he gets better. I hope this is a wake-up call and he thinks about his kids and, everything gets better for him. He's really needs to sit down and think about this. And he's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. And this is a lot of shit on his plate now. And I hope it resonates with him because I'd rather see him rebound than go into the gutter, which he kind of already is in.
Well, I mean, it's, bouncing out of it.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. And
and real quick, people are asking what happened to April. Well, he says if she was at home visiting, then if she's visiting, she's not really in possession. I think that's the main reason why April got out of this.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw people were saying
April's visiting, she doesn't live there, which Nick talked to the cops, and I mean that throws him and Kayla under the bus a little more. But yes, they took up for April, or Nick took up for April, and that's how they came to that point. So, but yeah, Flash, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
See you around, buddy.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, it's we'll figure out what happens going forward. So,
all right, see you guys.
At least it's a long weekend.